Hello, art adventurers. I'm Andrew, and this is Armchair Art Share. Today, we're traveling to the heart of ancient Italy, long before the rise of Rome, to meet a creative and mysterious civilization known as the Etruscans. Their art bridges early Italian traditions and the influence of ancient Greece, full of movement, color, and an unmistakable love of life. The Etruscans lived in central Italy, primarily in a region once called Etruria, which correspond to modern-day Tuscany, western Umbria, and northern Lazio. Their territories stretched between the Arno River in the north and the Tiber River in the south, placing them along key land and sea trade routes. This strategic location helped the Etruscans thrive economically and culturally, and strongly influenced the early development of Rome. We'll explore Etruscan art through 5 key periods: Villanovan, Orientalizing, Archaic, Classical, and Hellenistic. Let's begin. Before we dive into the timeline, let's pause and ask an important question. What do you think is the biggest difference between Greek and Etruscan art? Greek artists were famous for their idealized, naturalistic human figures, carefully calculated proportions, and a focus on physical perfection. Etruscan artists, on the other hand, cared less about ideal beauty and more about expression, decoration, and storytelling. Their figures are often more animated, more emotional, and sometimes exaggerated. Etruscan art borrows heavily from Greek and Egyptian styles, but reshapes those influences into something more personal and ornamental. This difference tells us a lot. Greek art often celebrates the perfect body, while Etruscan art celebrates human experience. Our journey begins with the Villanovan period, the earliest phase of Etruscan civilization. This culture grew out of local Bronze Age traditions and focused on practical and funerary objects, bronze helmets, decorative pins called fibulae, and simple pottery. Cremation was common, and ashes were often placed in hut-shaped urns, miniature versions of early Italian homes. These Villanovan hut urns didn't just hold the dead, they reflected how the living built their houses, symbolically linking everyday life with the afterlife. Simple, sturdy, and deeply meaningful, Villanovan art laid the groundwork for everything that followed. As Etruscan cities grew wealthier, long-distance trade brought new ideas from Greece and the Near East. Artists began decorating objects with exotic creatures: lions, sphinxes, griffins, and other mythical beings. One of the most spectacular discoveries from this period is the Regolini Galassi tomb, filled with dazzling gold jewelry. A massive gold fibula decorated with lions and ornate bronze cauldrons with sculpted animal heads, called protones, showed just how skilled Etruscan metalworkers had become. This period reveals the Etruscans as cultural middlemen, absorbing global influences and transforming them into something uniquely their own. During the Archaic period, Etruscan cities flourished, and their art became bold, colorful, and monumental. Etruscan temples were crowned with painted terracotta sculptures, including the famous Apollo of Veii, created around 510 BCE. Unlike calm Greek statues, this Apollo strides forward with energy and confidence. Funerary art reached new heights as well. The sarcophagus of the spouses shows a husband and wife reclining together at a banquet, smiling, affectionate, and equal in presence. Inside tombs, like the Tomb of the Leopards, painted frescoes depict musicians, dancers, and feasts, celebrations meant to last for eternity. Even when inspired by Greece, Etruscan art always feels warm, lively, and deeply human. While Greece entered its classical age, Etruscan artists continued to emphasize tradition and personal identity. Tomb painting became more refined, showing banquets, athletic games, and mythological scenes arranged in balanced compositions. Sarcophagi and urns often depict the deceased reclining, as if still participating in social life beyond death. A stunning example is the sarcophagus of Sciente Hanunia Tlesnesa, which portrays a wealthy woman delicately adjusting her veil. The sculpture blends realism with elegance, capturing her individuality, status, and presence. For the Etruscans, death was not an ending, it was another chapter of life. As Rome expanded its power, Etruscan art began blending with Hellenistic and Roman styles. Figures became more naturalistic, showing age, emotion, and even sorrow. The sarcophagus of Lars Pulina portrays a middle-aged man reclining, surrounded by carved scenes that record his lineage and fate. In the Tomb of the Reliefs at Cerveteri, Every wall is covered with carved household objects, tools, weapons, and furniture, creating an eternal home stocked for the afterlife. Though Etruscan political power faded, their artistic legacy lived on through Roman portraiture and funerary traditions. So, what defines Etruscan art? It's a blend of local tradition, global influence, and emotional storytelling. Art created for both the living and the dead. From humble hut urns to radiant gold jewelry and joyful banquet scenes, the Etruscans filled their world with beauty, memory, and meaning. And although Rome would one day rule their land, it was the Etruscans who first taught Italy how to build, decorate, and remember. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Etruscan art, Italy before Rome. If you enjoyed this exploration, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow art lovers. Until next time, stay curious, keep looking closely, and never stop asking why art matters. This is Andrew, signing off from Armchair Art Share.